Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 4 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing a brand new Christmas Cricut project with you every day for 20 days. Today's project is a big one, and it's a 3D one, and it's gonna take quite a long time to make, as you may have guessed from the length of this video, and it is this incredible 3-dimensional Christmas train. It's beautifully decorated on every single side. And if you notice on the back, there's a little hook. I wonder what that could be for. You don't just get the train today, you get 3 carriages too, each with a cute little Christmas character in it. As you can see on the screen now, they all go together along those little hooks. So you've got a Christmas elf, a penguin, and a snowman, all hitching a ride in the wonderful Christmas train. This is a great project to make for some decor to display every year for many Christmases to come. I really like how it all interlocks together into one, but you can easily take them apart again for a little bit of easier storage. So, what are you waiting for? Download that cut file and let's get started with our Christmas train. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Christmas Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas25. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas25 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Christmas Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. Or purchase just the design from this video at craftwithsarah.com/products. To find the designs from this countdown, click into the Occasions filter and choose Christmas. The designs will appear here each day once the free versions have expired. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into your cutting machine software. For instructions on how to use the cut files, visit craftwithsarah.com/help and choose Cricut, Silhouette or Scan and Cut. Within there are dedicated help guides on topics such as how to upload SVGs, how to modify them to make custom projects, framing tips, and how to cut cardstock with your type of machine. If you have any questions, email hello@craftwithsarah.com. Now, on with today's project. When you've uploaded the SVG, it will come in something like this. This is a very big file, so in order to see all the pieces, you would need to zoom out and probably do a little bit of scrolling too. There is a lot that makes up this project. The design overall should load in at 36 inches wide and 70 inches tall. If not, change yours to match those sizes. You can see the size box over here on the top left that's reminding you of that size. But we want to delete this so we don't accidentally cut it out. To do that, click the design, then ungroup the layers by clicking the Ungroup button at the top of the Layers panel, or you can click it on the floating bar along the bottom. Then click into the first layer, which is that green rectangle, and delete it. We need to do a lot of scoring for this project. Scroll to the top of the Layers panel if you're not already there. The top is the one with these 4 little red pieces with stars cut out of it. Then underneath those, you've got another group in here. You know that because it's got this chevron arrow on the left. Click that to open it up. Within there, you can see a brightly coloured piece along the bottom, and then what looks like lots of single lines on the top. Click on the single lines, and then it will jump you to that part on the design so you can see it. With that layer selected, under Basic Cut, change it to Score. Then click the group title. That will select both of the layers in that group. And then down the bottom of the Layers panel, click on Attach, or you can click the paperclip that appears in the floating menu. It both does the same thing. Attach is important because it's what tells the Cricut we want it to do the scoring on this particular bit of card. And then we need to work through all of the other groups. So I'm going to go down to find the next one, open it up, click on the top layer in there, change it to Score, click back, and attach. And then work through the next one. And it's always the top layer that you're clicking on to change to score. You know you've got the right one because it will show as this bright lime green color when you've clicked it. Change it to score, click, and attach. Keep looking down the layers panel, and every time you see a chevron, click into it, click the top layer, change it to score, click back to select the group, and attach. Sometimes you might end up scrolling quite a long way before you find the next one. For instance, that one took a little while, but once you found one, it's exactly the same to get those score lines formatted. Sometimes the line that you're clicking on might look like just one horizontal or vertical line. For example, this one. It's still the same process. Change it to score, click to select the whole group, and attach. So I'm going to work through the rest of this. There are lots and lots to do. Alright, I've now got to the bottom. I can't scroll down anymore in the layers panel, so I have reached the end. Have a quick scroll up. Make sure that all groups you see in the layers panel now have the paperclip icon and say attach. If you spot any that don't and they still say the original file name, that means you've accidentally forgotten that one, so go in and change the lines. You can see just how many pieces this is when you're scrolling, but luckily none of it is that complicated to cut out. It will probably still take you around 3 hours, I reckon, to get this cut. The type of cardstock you use doesn't matter. I'm using a fairly medium weight cardstock, and I've used textured cardstock for mine, but you can use any type that you want. Once you've done all the scoring, give your project a save so that you don't have to do that again if you want to come back to this project another time. And now we're ready to cut. Press Make over on the top right, and that will separate out all the colours for you. It might take a little while to load as there are so many pieces. You can change the paper size in the drop downs here. And then if you want to, you can click and drag to take up less space on your cardstock. Just make sure when you're doing this that no pieces overlap, otherwise they won't cut out properly. When you're happy with how all of your bits of cardstock are looking, press continue to connect to your Cricut, and then the great cutting marathon begins. Good luck! We're going to start by building the carriages. These are a nice one to start with because they're fairly simple to go together, and each one goes together in exactly the same way, so you'll end up with 3 in total. I'm just going to show it to you with one, and then you can repeat the same steps for the other 2. First up, make sure you put all of the correct pieces with the correct carriage, so that when you're sticking it together, you don't accidentally stick the wrong colours on the wrong pieces. Each carriage should have the following: 2 sets of wheels, and these are all in different colours depending on which one you're doing. I've stuck one set together, but I'll show you for this one. Each carriage has 2 matching sets of wheels, or 1 matching set, a matching pair. Each carriage has got a base piece which looks like this in blue, and then it's got one of those in blue, one of those in blue, and 2 of these in blue. I've used textured card for all my pieces, so it's going to be a bit easier for me to work out which is the front side of each piece. If you have used solid card that's the same, smooth card that's the same on both sides, just make sure you check against the design in Design Space as we're going. And then each carriage has a top, and the colour of this will be different depending on which carriage you're doing. It will all have a piece like this. It will either be green, red, or cyan acre colour, and then 4 decorative sides. This is the penguin carriage, and it's got these 4 pieces. There's also the gnome one, stars on the side, and the snowman one, stars on the side. Alright, so we'll start by gluing the wheels together. Each set of wheels has got a white bit at the bottom, and it will go with the bar along the top. Then there's a red swirly piece, then a coloured outline piece, and the colour of that is different on each carriage, and then a blue bit to go in the middle. Be careful when you're selecting these blue bits because there's a very similar shaped line that's actually a bit thicker that goes on the train. So what you can do is you can match it up with the line here. Actually, it'd be easy to do on this one. Match it up with this line here, and if it fits exactly on the top of that, you know you've got the right one. So that lines up nicely. But if you do accidentally put the wrong one on, it doesn't really matter. I think I have done that on a couple of places. Okay, so we'll start out by gluing all of these. I've got the white bit here, and then I'll glue the wheels on top, the red wheels. The glue I'm using is Barely Art glue, but any glue will do. I also like Kalal glue. But Barely Art glue is my favourite because it doesn't smell, and it comes in these bottles with the needle tip applicators on them, which for this project with lots of small pieces is very helpful. Okay, so this glue's on top. Then the coloured bit on the outside. And that's going to go that way. And then the blue strip down the middle. And it will end up looking like this. And you'll have two of them. You'll notice they're kind of opposites of each other. It's because when they're either side of the train, then it will line up. So you'll have the small wheel at the front of the train and the big wheel at the back. Next up, we'll do the box at the bottom. Select the piece, which is this one. It's blue for all three of the carriages. And I'm going to turn it upside down and then fold inwards along all of the score lines. One of the drawbacks of using textured card is it makes the score lines kind of hard to see. But we're going to persevere. I think that's all of them. Oh no, I've got two more along these tabs. To put this together, you can either use glue or double-sided tape. Glue holds stronger in general, but double-sided tape holds quicker. So it's up to you if you want to be patient and have it stronger or have it done quickly. I used glue for these ones. This time I'm going to try it with the tape. I like the Easy Runner Grand, and what we're going to end up doing is creating a box out of this. So the sides will come up, the tabs will come in on these bits, and then the opposite sides will fold upwards to stick to the tabs, and then at the end, the bit along the top, which I must have missed a score line for, I think. Yes, I have. Will fold downwards as the lid. Okay, so let's turn this. This is the outside, the bit I want to see, my textured side. And tape down all these tabs. I'm only going up to the first score line on all these sides. There we go. Oh, sticking it to my fingers. So I'll come up. Then these ones will come in. And this one will fold upwards. I think I've missed another score line here. I'm going to regret doing this on textured card. Okay, so tuck the tabs in, fold this side upwards, and then stick the tabs to the back so that they're at right angles. You're making nice, neat corners with that. And then the same on the back side. Tuck the two little tabs in, like that. Then fold this round. Tuck that in. Then fold the three remaining tabs inwards like that. pull the lid round and we're going to stick it so that the edge lines up with the edge on here. We want it to be as neat as we can with all that we've already put down. You might need to pull it tight slightly to get it to go all the way. And I am sticking it to my fingers. It's as far in as I can get it. Push down to get that well stuck. If you're gluing it, make sure you hold it, keep rubbing it. Don't let it come apart as the glue dries. Then we can put that to one side for now and build up the main bit of the carriage that our characters will sit in. Once again, turn it upside down and fold upwards along all the score lines. Most of the bits, the 3D bits in this project, are done kind of with this box idea in mind. So by the end you'll be very familiar with the process. Can't see my score lines at all on this one. Luckily, as I kind of try to start bending it, it's realising there's a score in it. I'm holding it the other way around. This is the outside because I just can't see from the bottom where those score lines are. Great. That's all of them. Then once again we're going to do the same thing. So either glue or double-sided tape. This is the outside. Getting it stuck everywhere apart from where I actually want it to go. I've gone outside the score line on that bit of tape. If you do that, use your fingernail to scrape it back the right side because we don't want to be able to see any of that tape on the finished carriage. Then once again, we're going to fold this up, tuck the tabs in, and then fold the other sides up and stick to it. They'll line up nicely at the corners. I've got my tape going over a bit. I'm just trying to neaten it up. They'll line up nicely at the corners like this. So we're getting nice, neat sides. Weirdly, I was neater with the glue than I'm being with the tape. Normally, I am the opposite way round. Then we end up with this little box shape. Next up, glue the sides on. The two short sides are the same and the two longer sides are the same for each carriage. And your glue on the back. And then stick on top so that the original colour shines through the hole. I was just wondering if these are different sizes, but they're not. That's good. Definitely didn't notice them being bigger sizes when I stuck the other two carriages together yesterday. I've not done mine very neatly because I messed up sticking one of the tabs together, so I've got a little bit of overlap, but it won't really notice when it's all on display. My other ones ended up much neater. Next, we're going to glue the carriage onto the top of our blue box so that it's in the middle. Choose which side you think looks nicer from the top. I'm going to go for that one because that one's got my join line on it, which was a bit messy. And we'll glue this on or double-sided tape it so it's in the middle. I'm going to do a bit of both, a bit of tape and some glue, so it stays on there very, very securely. I'm running out of glue. I need to refill my bottle. Should have done that before this massive project. It's not 100% the same size as this, so make sure you put it in the middle. It will line up against the two sides on the shorter bit, but on the longer bit you'll have space at the front and the back. Try and get it as central as you can. Hold it in place while the glue dries to make sure it doesn't pop off. That's why adding a little bit of tape is helpful, because it will give it some stick straight away. Next up, we'll stick the wheels to the side. They'll line up along the top of the blue, so along that top line of blue, and then put them in the middle. When you add the glue, add it along where the bar is, and not too much further down, because it won't all be touching. So just like that. Get it in the middle. Line it up along the top of the blue, and that's one side. And the same on the other side. And then hold it upside down, put it upside down until the glue's dry. If you try and stand it up now while the glue's wet, it might move the wheels about and then it might not stand up straight. While that's working while it's drying, then we can work on these pieces. So for these bits, fold the edges up towards you, and then now glue one either side. It's hard to see because it's blue on blue, but they go along one there and one along there. Just add glue to the main rectangle, not the bits you folded, and put them one on there and one on the other side, like that. And now that should be okay to stand up. One side of all the carriages will have a hook on it, and the other side will have a... Would that be a hook and that a loop? I'm confused. I don't know what to call it. One's got a circle and one's got a sticky up bit. There we go. And the front is the one with the smaller wheel closest to it, and that one will have the hole. And then the side closest to the biggest wheels has the sticky up bit. Very technical terms there. So first up, grab your hole and we're going to fold along the score line upwards like that to make this shape. Glue along the square on the back. And then remember, this goes on the side closest to the smallest wheels. We'll go on the front here and get it as central as you possibly can. Go for that. Then this piece, for the back, hold it like this with the sticky up bit on the right. It's so hard to show you because it's small. And then fold it inwards along that cut line. So then your hook will poke outwards like this. Turn it round, glue on the back, and then this will go on the back of your carriage. Again, try and get it in the middle and line it up along the bottom. So this is going along the bottom line of the blue, and then try and get an equal amount of gap on the left and the right. And then that is how all the carriages will attach to each other. So once you've made one of your carriages, then repeat it for the other two until you end up with all three made. Now we'll start building the characters. Each character comes with kind of two versions, a mirror image of each other. They'll be stuck back to back so that your carriages look lovely no matter which side you look at them at. I've already stuck one of each of the characters together, but I'll show you how to do it for the other one. Then you would repeat those steps for the second copy. Just bear in mind it's the mirror image, so all the bits look backwards on the other one. All the bits also have a base which will be cut from white card, which looks something like this. It'll be different depending on which character you're using, and some of them might have extra bits to go at the bottom. I'll be using foam squares to add a bit of dimension. These are from Dot and Dab. They're 5x5mm. Usually I use 2mm thick foam squares, but these ones are 3mm thick. That's because I accidentally bought the wrong ones a while back and I'm trying to use them up. 3mm is a bit too thick for my regular layered designs, but I think it'll be fine for this. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get some used, but you don't have to use ones that are this thick. We've got the black piece for the bottom, and then take the white bit with the eye cut out, and you've also got this squiggly little black piece. Turn the white bit over and add some glue around the eye holes. And then glue this piece over so it will fill in the eyes for you. Then add foam squares on the back. Peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. And then stick this on top of the black piece, adding some dimension in there. Then glue on this bit around the edge. Add a bit of glue to the beak and a tiny bit under each of the eyes to put on the pink circles for the cheeks. And there's a little penguin. While the glue dries on that one, I'll add the one I've already done onto the base. Check to see which way round it goes. So that doesn't line up that way, which means I need to turn this bit upside down, and then it aligns. Add glue on the back, and then stick it on. For this one, the penguin, to help it have more strength at the bottom, we've got these additional bits of white which will go into the middle using foam squares. These stop the pieces of card from flopping over under the weight of the penguin, so it is important that you add these on. And the foam squares, again, are kind of important for this bit as it helps give extra weight to the base. Line it up between the two little cut lines in the side and push down. And then I'll do the same with the snow on the other side. And then glue the other penguin on top. There we go. Double-sided penguin is done. For the tabs on the side here, you'll fold one towards you and one away from you. It doesn't matter which way round you do it because it's the same on both sides. We'll just need to be consistent when we put the characters into the carriages a little bit later. Next up, let's make the snowman. Start by getting one of the dark blue pieces and we're gluing it to the front of the brown. That will show through all of the expression on his face. Next, glue on the orange bit for the carrot in his nose. Then glue on the white. Then use a foam square or two, depending on the size, for the snowball that he's holding. Then foam squares for the bit along his hat and his scarf. Thinner bit is the one for the hat, which is the one I'm doing now. And the thicker bit is for his scarf. Turn it over, if you can pick it up, and repeat for the other side. I've already stuck the bits together to speed this up, so I'll just glue it on. And again, foam squares for the snowball. There we are. Then for the base, fold one of them towards you along the white and the other bit of brown away from you. And that's the snowman done. Here are the bits of my elf, and just like with the penguin, I've already done one of them, and I'll show you with the other one. These would be a really nice little standalone image to use on another project if you wanted to, as well as putting them in the train. Okay, so I'll start at the bottom, which is the red piece, and then glue the pink bit on top. Glue the dark green bit on top of that. Then glue the lime green bit on top. Use foam squares for the brown of his beard. Use foam squares for the bell. I find it easier to put the foam for this directly on what we've already got, because that bell's a little bit tiny. There we are. Glue on his crown. Foam squares for the nose. And then foam squares for his feet, which will go along the bottom. Then glue each one, once you've repeated it for the other elf, glue each one to the white base. That one on that side. Turn over, and the other one on the back. And then for the bits up to the cut lines on the side, fold one away from you and one towards you. Again, it doesn't matter which one you do it in which order. And there's our little Christmas elf all ready. Next up, it's time for all of the presents. There are a lot of these because they'll go one in front and one behind all of the characters. I've already put all these ones together, but I'll show you how to do it with the one remaining one because it's the same for all of them. It's probably easiest if you match up the colours by looking at your screen and Design Space to make sure you've got the right colours going with the right shapes. And then just like before with the other characters, we're folding one tab one way and one the other way on all of those to get that concertina look. So let's move all those to one side, and I've got this one left. Here we go. Start up by gluing the big present piece to the white base. Some of them have got cutouts on the side, like this one, it's got a diagonal line to help it line up against here. So just make sure when you're doing it, you do it the right way round. For example, this one, the diagonal line's on that side, so that wouldn't go on this way round because my line on the side is that way. So I need to get the side that's matching up with that. Then use either glue or foam squares for the ribbon pieces, it's up to you. Again, it's probably helpful to line these up before you start sticking them because they're all slightly different, they're not symmetrical. You don't want to put the wrong one on the wrong side. There we go. And then turn it over and repeat the same on the other side. I've already stuck the foam squares for the ribbons to make this a little quicker. So I just need to glue them on. There. Then fold the sides, one towards you, one away from you, and repeat for all of the other bits. And you'll have 6 in total when you're all done. Now it's time to start on the front of the train. And this is a fair few pieces to put together. This is going to be the longest section, the train bit, but luckily, most of it is fairly similar in how it goes together. I've already folded along all the score lines of all the pieces. It folds just the same as the bits that we were doing for the carriages. So this is my outside, my textured side. Then I folded all the score lines inwards. we'll start with this red piece, and again you can either glue it or use your double-sided tape. I'm going to use tape, go down all of the tabs. Just like before, we'll fold up the sides and then fold the little tabs inwards and then stick this bit to the tabs to make the sides. To make the bottom of the box so it all joins together, we've got this red piece with a score line a little way in that makes a tab. So this will go on top of these, and then the tab will tuck in this side. So we need some double-sided tape on the tab. I'll do that first. And push that in so it gets well stuck. That's what we've got now. And then fold it down on top of all those other tabs. Push those sides in so it's nice and neat. Make sure your tape is well stuck. Then put that to one side for now. Next up, we've got something very similar for the black piece, which will make up the bit underneath the wheels. So this is my outer side with my pretty texture, and I'm going to go down all of these tabs with my tape. Turn it over and fold it up into a box shape, just like we've been doing the whole time. Tuck up the smaller sides, like that, and then the other sides, and these come at a bit of an angle, so they're not 90 degrees, they're more like sort of 45 degrees. There we are, that's what we've got now. Fold the tabs down. And then once again, we've got another piece to go over the top to be the lid, and a bit that goes down into the side. I'll do the tab first. Line up the score line with the top of the side. Get that tape pushed in. That's what we've got. And then push it down to form the lid of this little box shape. And that's another bit done. Green bit next. Already done all the folding, and it's the same kind of thing again. This one's a little more complicated because of the windows. Wondering if I've forgotten a score line in these bits, but I don't think I have. This green card was the hardest out of all of them to see. Actually, I have missed one here, I think. No? Here. There we go. Yeah, there is one here as well. I can see it just in the right light. I always pick difficult card. Okay, now that's all of them. Okay. So first up, pull it through, and you've got the bit with the two holes. Tuck in those tabs and pull the next of the window shape in. Then next up, you've got the little tabs on here, which will stick on that little diagonal line. We're up to here. Then these tabs on the inside of here. So now it's looking like this, with our bit at the back, and then just tuck all of these in to the holes to finish it off. You can get your fingers in through the holes if you need to stick it all in place. And that's what we've ended up with for this shape. Now we're moving on to the slightly trickier, but only trickier because they're small. We'll start with this one next, and it's exactly the same process. Tape, then tuck tabs. This is quite small, so if your tape goes over the edge like mine has, fold it back on itself. Then all the sides come up, the tabs poke inwards, and attach it to the next bit. Got this little shape, and then the lid comes down to seal it. You have to squidge this up a bit so it's nice and neat. You might have to play around with the tabs like I'm having to do. It depends a bit on how neatly you did all the sides, which I apparently didn't do very neatly. And my tape's over the score line there. Okay, there's that little shape done. This has got some decoration to go on the outside. These 4 little starry pieces. Glue one of these to each of the sides. They'll look like that. There's one. And then I'll repeat for the other 3. Adding those patterns on helps to neaten it up a little bit if any of your edges were looking a little bit messy. That's now looking much better. Next up is the bigger of the 2 cube shapes like this. We'll do the big one first because then once you've done the big one, you'll know how to do the little one. This time I'm going to use glue as these tabs are too small for my tape to fit on easily. But it is just the same, making that little box shape with the tabs. But now I've used glue, I'm going to need to hold each bit in place to let it dry. I probably shouldn't have put glue on all the tabs at the same time. Mostly just going to get my fingers covered in glue now. And tuck the tabs over and push the lid down. Now, if you're not a fan of little things like this, it is quite small, you're really not going to like the next one. But for now, we'll add the side details onto this piece, which is these 4 bits of red. And zoom in as much as I can so you can hopefully see a little bit better. So these can go around any of the 4 sides, it doesn't matter which ones, but I'm going to make it a little bit taller than it is wide and go for the slightly taller ones on there. 1. Which way around did I do it? Stripes facing that way. Stripes facing... How did I manage that? Or are they different patterns? I've confused myself now. I thought they were all the same. Maybe they're not. No, I think they're 2 opposites. Okay. That's fine, as long as I know. So then that'll be that one with them facing that way, so I'm doing opposites. And then this one. The top and the bottom won't have any decoration on because one will be stuck to the train and the other will have an extra decoration on top. And that's what we've got. And then It's the turn of the really small one, and I've already stuck this off camera. I thought it'd be too hard to show because my fingers would just get in the way, but that's the size difference between them. If you're really struggling with this piece, you can leave it off and just have one little steam chute at the front of your train instead of two. One structure bit left to put together now, which is this one. It's what will sit on top of this one. So that one will be on top of there to make that. This one will go on top of the really small one. And once again, as it's so teeny tiny, glue. This time I'm just going to glue 2 tabs first. I've learnt my lesson. This one is a triangular shape, not square. But the actual premise of how it goes together is the same. As soon as I tuck one in, on the other side comes out. There we go. Hold that in place along the tabs to help the glue catch a little bit. Okay, then this can glue on top of this small bit. Put the glue on the top of the cube as the triangle's a little bit bigger. Doesn't matter which side to use as the top and which is the bottom. It sits on there like that. And get your slightly bigger cube, and then don't drop it like I just did. Going to glue the small side of that one on top like this. I'm going to hold this in place for a bit until the glue dries, and then that's all the structure bits of the train done, so we can move on to the decoration. Now we're moving on to the decorations for the train, which are the wheels and this bit for the sides. Again, we've got 2 of each of these, one for either side of the train. I've already stuck these ones together so you can see what we're aiming for. And this one. We'll start off with the wheels. At the bottom is this piece here. And on top we'll be gluing this bit, and it overlaps a bit at the back and the front, so when you're aligning it, align it by this line here, and it's going to be easiest to add your bead of glue around the edge of the black like that, and then glue this on top so that the top corner here matches your top corner here. Next up is the red for the wheels to do with foam squares. Line it up very accurately with the bottom of the black. If you overlap, your train might not stand up straight. Next up is the white piece to glue on top. Then the green bit on top of that. Then the blue stripes in the middle. And that's the wheels finished. Next onto the side. Got the base bit here. We'll start off with the white for the candy cane to do with foam squares. Then the red of the candy cane to glue. Then the yellow of the bell to glue. Next up, the yellow piece of the wreath to do with foam squares. And then this lines up with the wreath shape in here. Next up, glue on the green bit. I try and line it up by looking for one of the bits that's got a flat edge on it. There are a couple, but you can line it up then along the bit underneath. And then a little bead of glue down the 4 bits for the ribbon, like that. and then put the bits of ribbon on, but it doesn't matter which one goes on which bit. Just make sure that the flatter end of the ribbon points towards the middle. And there's that. And then finally, a foam square for the star near the front. That's the main decoration bits done. The other bits will all go on as we're putting it together. So now it's time for the final bit, seeing our train magically come to life with all of these pieces. We've now got all the pieces of the train assembled individually. Now we've got to put it all together and include all the rest of the other bits that we've got lying around. Alright, so there's quite a lot to do here, and I'm trying really hard to remember all of the bits. First up, we'll start with the black piece, and then you've got the slanted bit down the front. That's got this grid piece, which will glue along the front. As it's a bit thin down the middle, I'm just going to try and get a couple down there, but not worry about every single one. As the grill for the front, then leave that to one side and bring in your red rectangle. Choose which side is the neatest to be your top. Mine will be this one. And then on top, you've got the dark red rectangle to glue on. My reds are a little bit close. I probably should have done a bit of a darker one, but never mind. Then choose which side you want to be the front. Either this one or this one. And then glue on this smaller red rectangle. I think mine's a bit neater this side. I'll go for this side. Okay. Then use foam squares to put on the circle for the light on the front of the train. Goes in the middle of that darker red bit you just put on. Then there's a yellow edging to go around the outside. Then for now, we'll leave that one. And now it starts getting a little trickier. Take the base of your train, which is the black bit, and have the slant pointing down this way, so the longest side is along the bottom. Then get your red rectangle, and that will be glued so that the front of the rectangle lines up along the top of this piece, and it will overlap a bit at the back. You can see I've put quite a lot of glue on there because this has got to hold. Make sure it's nicely lined up around all the sides, and then put a little bit of pressure down to help the glue to stick. If you notice it start to pop off, put a bit more pressure on it. Don't push down hard, otherwise you might squidge and wreck the boxes. But just keep that glue as sturdy as you can as it's drying. So you might have noticed, since you just saw this, it's now looking a bit of a mess. And that's because I very foolishly just followed through all the steps to get the top on and then realised I'd stuck it on the wrong way up. So I had to try and take it all apart again. Luckily nothing's damaged, so I can glue it the right way. So when you're doing it, the flat rectangle bit of the green will go along the back of the red like that. So the slanted edge is at the top. I just glued it upside down like that, which was very, very silly. I only realised when I went to put the side on and it didn't line up. I'm hoping that all the bits that I've kind of messed up will get covered up with something else. So we'll see. Okay, so what you want to do, get the bottom, which is that whole rectangle shape, and add your glue onto there. I knew it was going too smoothly. This is now very uneven where my first layer of glue was. Hope it still goes. Alright, so line this up so it'll be right up against the back of the red. try and get it as in line with the red as you possibly can, because there's another bit of card which will stick on over that. We want it to be nice and flat. I'll put my fingers in the holes inside to get that glue pushed down. I'm so glad I noticed that before it had dried. I'd have been so upset if I had to make all the shapes again. Okay. So I've got this bit, which will go along here. And it will overlap a bit at the front. Luckily, my overlap doesn't have any glue on it. My glue's running out, so it's not coming out very well. I need to refill it. I definitely will after this project. It overlaps like that. And then on the back is this green rectangle, which will join the red and the green together. Here we go, there's that one. And now I'm going to do the sides and hope that they fit, which they do, amazing. So these glue up against the red and the green. Oh, made another mistake, silly mistake. Shouldn't have put the glue where the stars are going to go. If I try and rub that, it's going to be messy, so I'm going to leave it. It will dry clear, and then it will be okay. So when you do it, don't put the glue on the red of the box that we've got. Put it on the back of this bit, then you'll know not to put it where the stars are. And then we've got the front, and the edge along here will line up with the edge along there, and there'll be a bit of overlap on the back. Does the rest of it cover? I don't want to make that same mistake. Yes, it does. Okay, the rest of it covers the whole black, so I can put the glue on the black bit. And then up, then turn it over and do the other side. This time I know to add the glue on here. There. And this piece for here. There are 3 little stars to go down the green bit on the back. I use foam squares for each of these. Doesn't matter if you go big one at the top or little one at the top. I think I'll... which way should I do it? I'm going to go for big at the top. 1, 2, and 3. Nearly there now. It looks so good. Next up, take your little top, and that will go in there, and the big one will go at the front. I'll do the little one first. Make sure you leave enough room for the big one. I'm having quite a bit of glue here because I think it's going to need it. I'll leave that balanced. I'm not going to move that now until the glue on those is dry. That's everything for the train done, apart from the hook on the back so that it can hook onto the carriages. But I'll do that once all that's dry. I don't know if I can show you. I don't want to tilt it any more like that, but that is what we've got. So I'll leave that one to one side, and we can do the carriages while we're waiting. I've already put together the elf. Here he is, lovely and double-sided. And I've done the snowman. I'll show you with the penguin and then repeat exactly the same steps for the elf and snowman. Okay, so take your penguin first and you'll have one tab facing towards you and one facing away. Doesn't matter which way round it is. Add your glue on the outside of each of those tabs. Then slot it in to the middle of the carriage. Try and get it as close to that central line in there as you can. The tabs pointing one either direction helps it stay in there a bit stronger. And then pull it into place so the tabs stick. Try and get it central. Then take your presents and make sure the tabs are going the same way. So on my penguin, this one here is facing towards me. This one here is facing away from me. I'm going to repeat that with my presents. One will slot in on this side and one on that side. Try and make them about a finger apart from each other so that you've got room to get your finger in to stick the tabs. And also it creates a nice amount of depth in the scene. Push those tabs onto the side. They might need a little bit of encouragement to stay. The design should be as close to the bottom as you can get them. It might not completely touch, but as long as it's mostly there, it's all good. Try and keep them straight. I haven't done a very good job at that one. It's at an angle. It's going kind of that way rather than straight. I'll try better on this side. Once again, follow the direction of the tabs. So this one is coming towards me, that one's away. So repeat that with what you're about to put in. Put your finger in. Get those tabs to touch the side. Pull it a bit straighter. Even if it's not straight, it still looks amazing once it's in there. So then you would repeat that for the others. And then all your carriages are done. It's time to finish off the train. We've got 3 pieces left. These 2 blue bits and this white strip. So close to the end. My glue's now mostly dry. I've decided I'm not a fan of that overlapping the top, so I'm going to bend it forwards and stick it down to here. I'm just doing personal preference now. That's probably going to need holding in place at that angle for a little while. Let's see, will it pop up? No, that might be okay. I think that looks a little bit nicer. Alright, so now we've got the bit for the back. This will go onto the black bit at the bottom down there. First up, take this piece and we're going to fold outwards along where the edges come in, just like we did for the ones on the carriages, and then add glue to the back. And this will glue to the back this way round. Oh, in the middle, it's not quite as long as the black. And then we've got this white strip. Glue this. And that's going to line up at the top of the black to finish that off there. And then we've got the hook, fold it out exactly like the other hooks we've already done, and then glue it in the middle right along the bottom. Very small, hard to show. And that'll go along there. The hook folds out. And then when that's dry, everything will hook together. I'll go from the back. It doesn't matter which way round you do it. We got the little hooks on here. Hook them together. And then put my snowman on the back. And then the train's got a hook, so the train needs to... Oh, that didn't move very well. There we go. And then the train with his hook. Mr. Penguin can go over there. And now I know you can't see because I cannot pick this up to tilt it for you. But there is my amazing Christmas train, all finished. I hope that you enjoyed making this fabulous 3D Christmas train with me. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and Christmas fun. I hope to see you again tomorrow for day 5 of the Christmas craft countdown, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye!